Welcome and welcome and welcome. Welcome back. I am Dr. Demetria Smith. I'm back with the social room, but with the social room news. So I'm going to invite some people on here. I can't remember how to do this stuff here now. Y'all just bear with me. But I'm back with the social room news because the people, we the people, are the new news now. We have to do some fact checking, with our own major news network now because we're not getting the full story or we're not getting the story at all. So I decided to come and look deep into the story and break the story also to you, even further into details. Well, let me do this. I'm sorry, I'm back. I'm just trying to see if I can share the video. Let me see if I can. Y'all bear with me. Hello, hello. If y'all can come in and please share the video, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can invite some people in. Also to share the video before I get started with this story here. Just hold tight, bear with me. Thank you for joining me. Okay, it says live. Okay, so hold tight. Y'all bear with me, okay? I don't know why I'm just tagging people in here. I don't know. You know what? I guess I'm so outdated. Y'all hold tight, okay? Thank you. I'm trying to see how I ain't been on this thing so long. I'm trying to share it. Like I'm trying to figure like how do you invite people on here? I'm coming, y'all. I'm starting to see it now. Where is it? I'm starting to see it, y'all. Hold on. If y'all can share the video, that'd be great too. If y'all can do me a favor and share. Woo! This is different for me, y'all. This is totally different. Y'all hold tight. Thank you for the love. Hello, how you doing? I'm just trying to get people on here. I'm just trying to get people on here. What is that? I definitely want you tagged in here. It's like it's not letting me. Ooh, Lord. It's just like certain people just won't let me tag them in here. Yeah, I don't see. Woo! Okay, y'all, something is going on with my. I'm gonna get started with the story. Hold tight, y'all. I'm going to get started with the story. Wow. I think I'm just in a new territory right now. Y'all have to see what's happening out here. Be right back. Okay, thank you. My apology. Uh-oh. I'm gonna figure out how to work this. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'll figure out how to work this a little later. I can't get it. I have to figure it out later. I can't get it, y'all. What is going on with my stuff? What is going on? Comments, what's going on? It's crazy, I tell you. Uh, I'm coming, y'all. I'm definitely coming. Break this story here. Just certain people not coming up. I have no idea what Facebook did. I have no idea what Facebook did. Okay. On my feed, you trying to. It's on my feed, y'all. It's on my feed. It's just on my feed. Okay. Okay, y'all. I think I'm finding my way. I think I'm finding my way. So y'all hold tight. I think I'm finding my way. At least I started on time. It's supposed to start at 7 o'clock anyway. Pharrell, if you're on here, let me know, please. Because I haven't been here for a long time, so I'm just trying to get people in here. Hello. Hello, y'all. Story, okay? If y'all can share it to groups or share it to other people, that'd be great. Like I said, I haven't did this in a very long time. So, but I think this story deserved to be broken more than what they have told us about what's going on with Judge Steve Duble. I hope I'm saying that name right. But I do believe everyone needs to know about it in depth. In depth. Just do this here. And y'all can share it the rest of the way, okay? Just won't let me post in here. Maybe I'm capped out. Won't let me post. So let's go ahead with the story. Okay. Let me just go ahead and get started. So again, good evening. You in here now. Good evening. Share it to your folk, okay? Share it to your folk. I was just on TikTok, so I'm gonna be back on TikTok probably after this here, so you can catch me there, okay? But the story came out that I seen on September the 11th. So it came out September 11th. Fox News broke the story, and the headline is Harris County Justice of the Peace Court judge throws out all outstanding warrants. Now, let me tell you why I want to go further into the story, because the way they broke the story, the way they spin the narrative as if the judge did something wrong. But if you know the Constitution, you understand the Constitution, and you read his letter, he would tell you exactly why he threw out the warrants and pull back on the evictions and other misdemeanor cases. But these are all Class C misdemeanors. So I want we the people to get the story right, because the way the news media, the major outlet, is spinning a narrative, they spinning this narrative as if he did something wrong. And it appears that, the Harris County officials and Texas officials is attacking this judge for making his stance. So let's go a little bit more into the story. So again, the headline says, Harris County Justice of the Peace Court judge throws out all outstanding warrants. So let's take a look at that for a moment. So here's the brief, okay? And what it says is, and then we're going to go look at his letter too, okay? So I just want to let y'all see what's going on in the states and why we should support what this judge actually did, because for him to have done the right thing is unprecedented, you know, for a lot of people who never heard of a judge upholding his constitutional duties. So here's what the brief says. It said, Houston judge has recalled all outstanding warrants in his court, affecting thousands of cases involving traffic citation, evictions, and other misdemeanors. Let's put a pin right there. So what this judge did, what Judge Steve Duble did, he recalled all of the warrants. I mean, the warrants has been lifted, in other words. Okay, so people who had warrants out for their arrest for Class C misdemeanors, he lifted those warrants. I'm going to go into why he lifted those warrants pursuant to his letters, okay? And anybody that was facing eviction case, they don't have to worry about facing that as of now, because what he wants is for these people to have a due process. So we're going to take a look at that again. So in any other misdemeanor cases, so these are all Class C misdemeanor. Now the cases, from what I read, have not been dismissed. He just lifted those warrants. Okay, so there's some other measures that's supposed to have taken place prior to putting warrants out for people arrest. So let's take a look at it. It says this decision is unprecedented and has raised concerns among legal experts and law enforcement officials. Why? Why was his constitutional decision? And I'm gonna show you how it's constitutional. His constitutional decision raised, you know, concerns for attorneys and law enforcement. Why? Okay, so let's go into it. Now, this is what Chris Tricio is saying. He said he's never seen this happen in the 37 years I've been doing this, said Fox 26 senior legal analyst Chris Tricio. I hope I didn't chop this man's name up. So, but he said in 37 years, he basically is telling us he's never seen no judge perform his constitutional duties in the 37 years he's been around in his practice or in his field. In other words, he have never seen a judge. This is unprecedented to him. He's an attorney, but he have never seen a judge to uphold his oath. In other words, and I'm going to show you how this judge actually uphold his oath. So this is what Senator Paul Bettencourt said. This is a state senator, Republican senator. On top of that, I'm not trying to down the Republican. I'm going to call you out, whatever you are, okay? So this is the Republican senator is saying this, and I'm shocked myself. So the Republican senator is saying, my reaction was this is nuts. He's saying this man is nuts. This man is pulling back warrants and stopping eviction. This man is nuts. This is what the Republican Senator Paul Bettencourt said. I'm not saying go the other way. I'm not saying none of that. I'm just calling out what it is. And so Judge Stephen Duble became Harris County Justice of the Peace Precinct 1 in 2023. So he became judge in 2023. So we say what appears to be unprecedented move on his part could mean no fines or jail time for an untold number of defendants facing Class C misdemeanor, traffic citation, and eviction. So they saying this is, wait, hold on. We had warrants out on these people. Now these people don't have warrants no more. These people not facing eviction. This is unprecedented. That a judge can go in and clear his whole books. But I'm gonna tell you how. So in a letter, and this is the part they did not fill in the rest of what this man said. So they said in a letter dated August 22nd to Precinct 1 Constable Alan Rosen's staff, Judge Duble writes, after extensive research and thoughtful consideration, I have decided to recall each and every outstanding warrant from this court. So the judge wrote a letter August the 22nd to Alan Rosen, Constable Alan Rosen. And he's letting the constable know why he actually Rosen know why he actually, you know, recalled all those warrants and lifted those evictions. So, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna read his letter to you. So it said, this includes arrest warrants, bad check warrants, and list goes on and on. So somebody said, it's strange that you have a situation where a judge is issuing a blanket order that affects every warrant in his court with no explanation, Tricio said. That's what the Fox News legal analyst attorney is saying. Hey, this is strange. You didn't explain why you did it. He have a 3-page letter, and this letter was sent out to Alan Rosen, August the 22nd, and they just read a portion. They just put a portion of that letter in this article. But this judge has a 3-page letter explaining in detail why he did, cited case laws, cited laws and all of that, cited the Constitution. He literally explained, but this Chris Tricio, Fox News legal analyst, said he gave no explanation. Now, why would he leave that part out? Now, that's just a flat out lie. The judge did give an explanation. So he go on to say, that's right, Judge Duble gives no reason for basically throwing out cases from constable, the sheriff office, DPS, and school district. He said, yeah, that's right, yeah, he didn't give out no reason, no nothing. So what I'm about to read to you in this letter, it's not a reason for, this is not a reason for this attorney at Fox News. So they said they may all have cases pending in there that have now been let go, said Tricio. So Tricio, this legal analyst is pretty pissed off. While judges can recall warrants, it's not clear if Judge Duble can throw them all out in one swoop. Why not? Why not? There's a rule, and it's in, every state has a rule. So Texas have a rule called Texas Civil Rules and Procedure. And there's a rule that says take judicial notice. So a judge may take judicial notice on their own and decide what to do with that case. That means they can, when they take the judicial notice on their own, they can see with their own eyes this is admissible evidence or not. And 1 USC 112 said the statutes, all the statutes, the codes, the rules can be admissible as well. So this judge can take judicial notice, but this guy is saying, hey, I know you can do it, but I don't know if you can do it all in one swoop. That's nothing prohibiting him from not. Okay, so he can do it, and he actually did it. So, and they said the law may not be as clear because no one's been, quite frankly, crazy enough to do this until now, Bittencourt said. So they calling this man crazy for following the Constitution. So again, Judge Duble, Steve Duble, threw out arrest warrants, for Class C misdemeanor, but did not dismiss the case. Okay, he have not dismissed these cases. He just threw out the warrants. I mean, can nobody just be picked up without due process? So this is what this judge is doing. And I'm almost finished with this one. It said, in a statement to Fox News, Harris County District Attorney Office said, we only recently were made aware of Judge Duble inexplicable decision to grant fugitive a free pass in his courtroom. So now they want to call these people fugitives. They're not runaway slaves or anything like that. So, and then it also said the decision can endanger the lives of the public and our law enforcement officers. Now, a lot of people may agree with that, but I'm about to show you why he did what he did. Accountability is fundamental to justice. Without it, the public loses faith in our entire judicial system. Judge Duble sent Fox 26 a prepared response 7 minutes after Wednesday night's 9 p.m. newscast began. You can view statements below. Yeah, he did, but this letter went out August the 22nd. So he just had to send them this letter, to give a response. But this letter, Alan Rosen already had this letter. You don't know how to work it. I'm not on TikTok right now. I'll be on TikTok after the fact. You can't hear me? So let's go into the judge's letter. So this is Judge Stephen Duble. Okay, so the officials and senior legal analyst Paul Bittencourt, they're against this guy for, throwing out a arrest warrant. But here it is. So this is the letter from the judge. Okay, right. So it says statement from Judge Stephen Duble regarding Class C misdemeanor warrant recall. This is from the mouth and desk of Judge Stephen Duble. In 2023, the United States Justice Department cautioned against discriminatory enforcement of fines and fees and detailed obligation to comply with federal statutory prohibition against discrimination in the imposition and collection of fines and fees by conducting an ability to pay determination prior to imposing any period of incarceration. The court conducted extensive research on these issues and after thoughtful consideration, recall all outstanding Class C misdemeanor arrest warrants issued by Justice of the Peace Precinct Court, Precinct 1, Place 2. The recall arrest warrant does not dismiss any charges. This recall was coupled with prioritization on collection of fines and fees. This court will continue to collection efforts following the law on ability to pay determinations. On the three types of misdemeanors, Class A, B, and C. Class C misdemeanors are the only misdemeanors handled by a Texas Justice of the Peace and are only punishable by a fine of up to $500. What the judge is saying, hey, I went to the Department of Justice. So this is what the judge is saying. So he cited some things from the Department of Justice. And he looked at what the Department of Justice saying they need to be cautious of. These judges need to be cautious of discriminatory prohibition, like the statutory prohibition on, discriminating against people that can't afford to pay the collection fines and fees. So all he did was recall the Class C misdemeanors because those fines are up to $500. So he's saying basically that's the only punishable. You can't punish nobody, but only with these fines. That means you can't go and jail them because they owe you $200 or owe you $300 or owe you $500. That's the max punish that these people can receive if it's a Class C misdemeanor. So he said instead of putting warrants out and jailing people who can't pay Class C misdemeanor was only punishable by fine only, and he made sure he blacked that out. You can only fine people that have a Class C misdemeanor, not put a warrant out and jail them. So this judge is following his constitutional duty, and he also followed the federal statute on top of this too, because the statute said you can only fine people. The max fine you can do is $500 on a Class C misdemeanor, but instead they want to put warrants out for people arrest. So the judge said no. Let's follow the Constitution. Let's follow the federal statute that's in compliance with the Constitution on this. Instead of us putting warrants out for these people arrest, let's see if they have the ability to pay. Let's not discriminate against these people. Let's not violate these people due process, in other words. So that's what he's doing. He's following the federal statute that Chris Tricio, the senior legal analyst that said this is unprecedented and this guy is nuts, and Paul Bettencourt, calling him crazy for following the federal statute that's promulgated on the books already. The transportation code prohibits officials from arresting people. It's like you put them in debtor jail. So this guy is following the Constitution and following the statute that's on the books, but they feel like, oh no, he's nuts, he's crazy for following statutes that Congress have put together. And let's continue on. So what he also said was the cost of taxpayers of having officers arrest, transport, and process someone at the Harris County Jail on a warrant arising from a Class C misdemeanor, only to have them released hours later with the fine and court costs written off as satisfied by jail credit is far more than the unpaid fine itself. So what he said here, hey, if these people get a $250 ticket or the max amount $500 ticket, you arresting these people, taking them to jail, only to release them, and y'all write it off, is way much more, and it costs much more than the $500 that's allowed. That's what he's saying. This is what this judge is saying. And you got people like Paul Bettencourt, DA, and Chris Tricio don't understand what this judge is doing. And the letter is right here. All they could have did is read the letter, and they wouldn't have to be spinning a narrative out there that's saying that this judge is basically crazy. They're pissed off and mad at him because they can't make the money they normally make for doing unconstitutional acts. This judge is doing his constitutional duties. So they can't make and racketeer the money they normally would. So he said, hey, press pause, move these warrants off the book. These people gonna only pay $500. Y'all can't arrest these people because the only fine, a punishable offense, is a fine only. That's all this man is doing. And it further reads, shifting the focus to collection of fines and fees instead of arrest respects to the Sixth Amendment, right to counsel, and 14th Amendment, right to due process of the U.S. Constitution, and represents fiscal responsibility that honors taxpayers. What he's saying is, hey, the people, have a right to face the accuser. So that's where the Sixth Amendment is coming in at. And the 14th Amendment, he said they have a right to due process. That means y'all got to follow the procedure. The procedure tells you can only fine people for Class C misdemeanor, not jail people for it. So y'all are violating the 14th Amendment is what this judge is saying. And the people don't have a right to face the accuser. So you got to give these people due process. So this is what this judge is raising. So for them to say he said nothing, he gave no reason, this is just on page 1. He's giving constitutional reasons why he's doing what he's doing. And I hope y'all can circulate this to Judge Stephen Duble, because he have a right for people to see actually what's really going on. I don't know him personally, but when I saw this, it seemed like he's the only judge in America that's taking this stand for the people and for the Constitution. So he did nothing wrong. He's well within his rights to defend the Constitution and uphold the oath that he have, and he's following federal laws that's in alignment with the Constitution. And you got these officials in Harris County calling this man out for doing just his job, the constitutional job on top of that. So as we the people now have to fact check now the major news outlet, because they're not giving us the full story, and he has a right to be vindicated. And it goes on and reads. The recall of the old Class C misdemeanor warrant should allow law enforcement to allocate more time and resources to protecting the public from violent crimes. So he said, okay, I'm giving y'all, time to go out and look for the real criminals versus these Class C misdemeanors, y'all jailing people, using the taxpayer dollars to jail people for, between $250 and $500. Filling up the jail just to go in and out. So what he said also was, the recall was ordered to comply with the Constitution. This is what Judge Stephen Duble said. This is the reason that he recalled it. He said the recall was ordered to comply with the Constitution. Now, why did Senator Paul Bettencourt say that he didn't have a reason? Why did the senior legal analysis from Fox 26, Chris Tricio, lie and say this man didn't have a reason when he have a whole statement out here giving the reason why he recalled, why he did a whole blanket recall? Why did they lie on this judge? Notwithstanding the recall, the court will promptly abide by and comply with instructions of any superior court of competent jurisdiction, holding that this court's understanding of its constitutional obligation in this regard is mistaken. So he's challenging any other courts. Like, okay, if y'all have anything contrary to what the Constitution has said, then I will comply with the superior court. But he knows that the superior, y'all seen his background? He knows the superior court is going to agree constitutionally. So he's basically challenging them. Because if y'all read Article 6 of the Constitution, the judge is only bound by, I say Article 6, not the Sixth Amendment. I'm talking about the judge's delegation authority, right? So the judge is only bound by the Constitution, bound by these treaties, the laws that's in compliance with the Constitution, that's in alignment with the Constitution. Anything contrary to that is notwithstanding. He's not bound by unconstitutional statute. And this is Article 6 of the Constitution. Now he broke down the details of the Class C misdemeanor. And what he's saying about the Class C misdemeanor is this. There are two major categories of crimes, felonies and misdemeanors. Of these two, the misdemeanors are the less serious ones. And there are three types of misdemeanors, Class A, B, and C. Of the three Class C misdemeanors are the least serious and the only misdemeanor handled by a Texas justice of the peace. Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 4.11 says jurisdiction of justice courts in criminal cases is limited to offenses punishable by fine or other sanction not require confinement or imprisonment. So what are he doing? He telling you what the code is saying. And if you got people violating this code, they do it every day. They violate Article 4.11 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, because they're actually, sending people to jail when the code specifically says that the max punishment they can receive is only by fine. So he's calling out the unconstitutional. He's calling out the article, and that article is constitutional on that part. My apology. So he also is saying that Class C misdemeanors in Texas are punishable by a fine up to $500. Most Class C misdemeanors are traffic offenses such as speeding, running a red light, or failure to yield. They also include driving-related violations like a first offense of driving with invalid license, driving with defective equipment, driving without insurance, or having expired registration. Non-traffic Class C's misdemeanors include public intoxication, theft of something value less than $100, possession of drug paraphernalia, but no drugs, assault without injury, and disorderly conduct. This judge is spelling out, what Class C misdemeanors is. Usually a person will receive a ticket when charged with a Class C misdemeanor instead of being arrested and booked into jail. Still, even with a Class C, that's supposed to be a fine only. This judge is saying y'all not supposed to be booking these people, putting warrants out for these people arrest, when you have a whole article and a constitution that tells you to do otherwise. And they calling him crazy and nuts? No, they are crazy and they're the nuts, and they're the one that want him and all the other judges to continue to extort from the people by doing these unconstitutional acts, violating their 14th Amendment, 4th Amendment, 6th Amendment, 5th Amendment rights. So this judge took it back to the Republican form of government, meaning the people rule is what the people say, and he's actually performing the duties of his oath, his constitutional oath. That's what this judge just did. And they disagree. And then what he still said, the judge go on and said, usually a person will receive a ticket, when a charge with a Class C misdemeanor instead of being arrested and booked to jail. Still, even with a Class C, that is supposed to be a fine only. A court may issue an arrest warrant if the person fails to appear in court or fails to pay the fine. Unlike other criminal cases, a defense lawyer would not be appointed to represent a person accused of Class C misdemeanor, even if they cannot afford to hire a lawyer. So it's still a crime. The Class C misdemeanor is a crime, but the judge is saying, hell, y'all not going to appoint them a court-appointed attorney for no Class C. So you're not going to have nobody to help these people for no Class C when you put a warrant out for their arrest, when it's only punishable by fine only. So that tells you the state of Texas and Harris County political subdivision been allowing all these due process violations, all these unconstitutional arrest warrants, evictions, all of that without due process. I mean, they've been extorting from the people. And I'm not trying to put this label on the judge. I'm just something I'm saying. Because if y'all look at the word extortion, you'll find out. So then he looked at 2023 U.S. Department of Justice advisement on discriminatory enforcement of fines and fees. So he pulled it up and he put this in his statement. And it says on April 20, 2023, the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Associate Attorney General, Civil Rights Division, Office of Justice Program, and Office for Access to Justice issued a letter that included a discussion of the relevant case law on the assessment of fines and fees, cautioned against discriminatory enforcement of fines and fees, and detailed obligation to comply with federal statutory prohibition against discrimination in the imposition and collection of fines and fees. The letter outlines circumstances where unjust imposition and enforcement of violate 733. I'm sorry, I gotta go back. That was a call that just interrupted me. Okay, violate the civil rights of those accused of crimes, as well as circumstances that raise significant public policy concern. In particular, the letter outlines the below 7 constitutional principles. So he's giving an advisement from the Department of Justice. That's what the judge is doing. So he's letting the public know that, hey, I'm even following the advisement of the Department of Justice when it comes to civil rights. So, and he laid it out. He laid out the 7 constitutional principles. Number 1 is what he said is the 8th Amendment prohibits the imposition of fines and fees that are grossly disproportionate to the severity of the offense. Number 2, the 14th Amendment prohibits incarceration for non-payment of fines and fees without first conducting ability to pay determination establishing that the failure to pay is willful. So he's laying out what the Department of Justice laying out. That's what he also followed. Like, you can't just kind of go arrest these people before you find out if these people can afford this or not. He also laid out the 14th Amendment, number 3, requires the consideration of alternatives before incarcerating individuals who are unable to pay fines and fees. This is due process, and he's following it to the T. And number 5, the 14th Amendment prohibits the imposition of fines and fees that create conflicts of interest. That's number 4, I'm sorry. Number 5, the 14th Amendment prohibits conditioning access to the judicial process on the payment of fees by individuals who are unable to pay. Number 6, the 6th and 14th Amendment require due process protections such as access to counsel in appropriate cases, as well as notice when imposing and enforcing fines and fees. And the 14th Amendment, number 7 Amendment prohibits the imposition of fines and fees in a manner that intentionally discriminate against a protected class. So what this judge did is laid down the facts. He laid down the law, the Constitution, 4th and 6th Amendment. He laid down the Texas Criminal Code Procedure, Article 4.11. He laid down the Department of Justice advisement that everything he did was constitutional. Did his extensive research on why, these people had warrants out for their arrests. So this is a constitutional judge. He even cited case laws, okay? But he said the DOJ letter expressed concern over unnecessary incarceration for non-payment of fines and fees and strongly encouraged judges to consider alternative ways to obtain resources other than through the assessment of fines and fees. Further, it recommends a review of each jurisdiction rules and procedures to ensure that they comply with the United States Constitution and federal law and promote sound public policy. As stated in the letter, a local courts have affirmative duty to determine individuals' ability to pay and whether any non-payment was willful before imposing incarceration as consequences. He has a case law that support exactly what the Department of Justice letter actually is saying. That is Bearden versus Georgia, Bearden versus Georgia. So he have that in here. State and local courts should conduct this analysis even if a defendant does not specifically raise the issue. The Supreme Court emphatically stated that before a person is incarcerated for failing to pay a fine, a court must inquire into the defendant's reason for non-payment. And if the defendant cannot pay despite sufficient good faith effort to do so, the court must consider alternative measures of punishment other than imprisonment. So what did Judge Stephen Duble do wrong? Paul Bettencourt, Harris County officials, senior legal analysis, Fox News. What did this judge do wrong when he's going by the Constitution, the federal laws, the Texas Code Criminal Procedure, and the Department of Justice advisement? What is it that y'all couldn't understand that he did? Why was he called nuts? Why was he called crazy? Why do you think his action was unprecedented? Why? In your 37 years, Chris Tricio, it was unprecedented because you never saw judges in any courtroom you probably have stepped in actually followed the Constitution. So now it's unprecedented. And same to you, Paul Bencourt. Y'all should look back. And what he said was, in addition, this is the last one. I'm gonna be done after this. In addition to the concern raised by Bearden, the arrest of people accused of Class C misdemeanor for failure to appear or pay a fine will violate their Sixth Amendment right to counsel. The Sixth Amendment requires appointment of counsel in all misdemeanor prosecution that end up that actual deprivation of a person's liberty. And he has another case law to support that. Y'all have to go read his statement. I think this is Argersinger versus Hamlin. For decades, the Supreme Court has consistently drawn the line at actual imprisonment, requiring counsel in any case that actually leads to imprisonment, even for a brief period. That's Scott versus Illinois. Actual imprisonment is the line defining the constitutional right to appointment of counsel. That's Nichols versus United States. The holding constitutional lines between criminal proceedings that resulted in imprisonment and those that did not. Glover versus United States. Any amount of actual jail time has Sixth Amendment significance. Alabama versus Shelton. It is thus the controlling rule that absent a knowing and intelligent waiver, no person may be imprisoned for any offense unless he was represented by counsel at his trial. This is what the judge completely laid out in his 3-page letter. And they said this judge gave no reason why he recalled warrants, misdemeanors, and eviction. And he laid every constitutional reason out, citing case law, citing the criminal codes and procedures, citing the 14th Amendment, citing the 6th Amendment, citing the 4th Amendment, like he's citing the constitutional laws, federal statute, DOJ advisement, but they want to ridicule this judge and say he's crazy and they've never seen this, like he did something wrong. Here's what I want to make very clear to Senator Paul Bencourt and the senior legal analyst Chris Tricio, and all the officials, including the Harris County Department DA. Here's what I want to make very clear, and this is something you all know. You cannot, number one, you can't attack this judge for following his constitutional duties. And y'all all lied by saying, and if y'all all agreed and y'all didn't step up and said this judge did give a constitutional reason as to why he threw out those unconstitutional cases. He didn't dismiss it. He just basically starting over, giving these people a right to due process and going back to assess to see if they can actually follow the 14th Amendment procedure, to see if these people can actually afford, giving them a new opportunity to see if they can afford to pay these fees. That's what the judge is doing. He didn't throw out the whole case. He just followed the Constitution. He had to leave a legacy. He took an oath. And Paul Bencourt, this is to you. You represent the state. You represent the state, Senator Paul Bencourt. All a senator does. When this man got elected, he was chosen by the people. And when he was chosen by the people, it was the state of Texas, Senator Paul Bencourt, because you represent the state. And you know how this process goes, because you've been through it yourself, because you are the elected official. It was the state of Texas Secretary of State who issued everybody oath, including yours. They issued your oath, your application, for you to get your oath. They commissioned you, in other words. It was the state who did that. It was the state of Texas who issued it to Judge Stephen Duble, and Paul Bencourt to you too. So you've been through this process. So it's the state has a responsibility. So the state has a responsibility. So the state issued you oath, and you guys were supposed to do what? Turn the oath back into the state so they can have their original. Y'all can fact check me, either the governor have, but a state secretary of state normally issues it. Okay, you got to turn in your oath, and you got to turn in your bond. Now you may turn your bond somewhere else, but you got to have them both. The oath is a contract to we the people, right? For you to perform your duties, and the bond that you have, is to secure your performance to we the people. That is what this is for. So the judge, Stephen Duble, knew he has a constitutional duty, a contractual duty to perform his constitutional duties for we the people, because that's the promise he made. He promised to uphold the Constitution, and that man did his job. And Senator Paul Bencourt, I can tell you do not obey no Constitution, because you think what this man did was totally wrong. So they're like, people need to investigate you and your performance, because obviously you took the oath, but you don't believe in it. But Judge Stephen Duble took the oath and he believed in it. He believes in it. Now, the state of Texas, because they're holding the original oath, or maybe the governor's office, either way it goes, the state is holding the original oath. And because the state, oops, hold on, this here, get on my nerve. Because the state is holding the original oath for all the officials, because the state is holding your original oath, the state have to do what? Be in compliance with the Constitution too, because they issued it to you. The other thing the state of Texas did was adopted the Constitution. So when the Constitution was presented by our founding father to the state of Texas and all the other states, what did they do? They had to do what? It was presented to them. They accepted the offer. Now the state is what? In contract with we the people. And now everyone that run for office are now also where? In contract with we the people, pursuant to their oath. So how can this state of Texas, who issued the oath to the judge and made the judge swear in to hold the truth, to uphold the oath to the Constitution, want to then go back and say this man is nuts and this man is crazy because he followed the Constitution, the very oath y'all issued to him? You're calling him crazy for upholding the very oath you issued and you have in your possession. So don't attack him for an oath of office that you issued to him for him to uphold, to follow, and perform, because you adopted the Constitution. That means you all are in contract with we the people, and you all have to perform to we the people. So all you all have to do is go and take a look at Article 6 of the Constitution and read all the way to the bottom, and you'll find out the judges are bound by that Constitution. That means they're bound by that oath, and anything that's contrary to that, to those statutes, to the Constitution, is notwithstanding. That means he don't have to obey that. So don't attack him for doing his constitutional duties, because that is where y'all wrong at. The man did exactly what he promised to do. So he's the people hero on that one. I think every last one of y'all should take, his playbook and actually follow it. Because the very people that's saying he's crazy, he's nuts, I think y'all need to be on the investigation. Y'all need to be on the investigation to make sure that y'all actually follow the Constitution. For all the officials. So, Judge Stephen Duble, if you get this message, I want to first say thank you. I want to say thank you as we the people. I appreciate you for actually upholding your oath. And for everybody else that support the Constitution, I speak for us all. We all gonna say thank you for doing your job. We're not saying you letting people get away. We know that's not what you're doing. We're saying thank you for following your oath. You have to follow that. And all the judges should take that. Every elected official should take this playbook, take a lesson out of his playbook. And the only lesson in his playbook is he upheld his oath of office. He just upheld his oath. And y'all upset with the man for that? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. So if you're a podcaster or if you're a content creator go ahead and do your research on Judge Stephen Duble in terms of the act that they're complaining about. Look up his story, look up his statement, and y'all get it out there to the rest of the people in support of this judge, because this judge didn't do anything wrong. People have a right to due process. That means they have a right to be notified before any warrants out, for their arrest. They have a right to be notified so they can defend themselves. If these people could not afford these fines and fees and afford rent and all of that, these people need notice, they need resource. And that's all this judge is saying. And he's citing everything that support his stance, including the Constitution. And you officials, you Harris County officials attacking this man, calling him nuts and crazy. Y'all defaming this man. So we're here to correct that. You're defaming somebody that's actually doing the work and doing the job that you all are supposed to be doing. All of y'all supposed to be doing is following the Constitution. So y'all see him here broke this story, trying to make him look bad, to make sure he do not get reelected again, to make it seem like that he's endangering the public lives over misdemeanors, over traffic tickets. He's endangering the public lives, y'all, in the law enforcement. For evictions, traffic citations, how? How is he endangering people for recalling that? No, these people been sitting here straight up extorting people. They've been extorting people to have access to their credits when they get to the court. That's something y'all don't even know anything about. So I'm not going to get too far into that. But I appreciate the judge. And I hope the rest of you that get this video in circulation, y'all can see actually what he's done. And y'all stand with him, stand by his side, stand for him. And once you do your research, you put it out there. And thank him for being that one judge that we have heard about for the first time, that's following the Constitution. Now that's what you call unprecedented, and that right there is a shame. Don't make no sense. We haven't seen no judge that followed the Constitution that made the news like this here. Y'all thought y'all was gonna spin a wrong narrative on this guy, but don't know you got some educated we the peoples out here. You got some educated we the peoples out here. And y'all thought y'all was gonna take this narrative and just spin it and make this man. No, we fact checking you. You actually made the man look good and made yourselves look bad. You made yourselves look bad. But I'm Dr. Demetra Smith. I just want to make sure that we the people know exactly what's going on and what the judge actually did. I don't think they actually gave this man his opportunity. They attacking a judge. They didn't give him an opportunity to tell his real side of the story. He put the letter out there. But they are already, most people, know most people not going to read like that. So they just gave a whole new narrative of calling this man nuts and crazy and all this crazy. This is crazy that they spin this narrative this way. So we can't even trust the news. We can't trust no journalists these days because they're not going to give you the whole story. They're not going to give you the story at all. They're just going to lie, knowing that people not going to do no research. But we're in a new era now, thanks to the bid era that y'all made all of us content creators out here, because now we starting to do the work, we starting to do the research, and we starting putting the real news out there that y'all used to do, and you don't do it anymore. All you trying to do is prepare this man for his downfall when he run again for a re-election. Y'all trying to humiliate a guy, a man, a judge that's following his constitutional duties. Again, the state that issued the oath swore him in to make sure that he uphold his constitutional duties is attacking him. Paul Bencourt, I know you're not Secretary of State or the governor, but still you represent the state and you have a whole lot to say. Y'all need to check Paul Bencourt records now. Now, how about that, Paul? They need to check your record since you don't like the Constitution. Obviously, you don't believe in it. You don't believe in, if you went against this judge that went completely in alignment with the Constitution, you don't believe in the Constitution, and you have a whole oath too. Well, people might need to check. They need, y'all probably need to call Secretary of State and see if Senator Paul Bencourt even turned his oath in, because the way he's talking against this judge, he may not have an oath. He may not have one on file. He may not have a bond. Like, we gotta check. We gotta check with, see if Paul Bencourt have an oath. You gonna make us investigate every last one of y'all with the way you talking? Oh, Paul Bencourt. So, with that said, Paul, you probably want to correct your story for trying to make this judge look crazy, and y'all need to retract calling him names like that. You probably need to go on the news and correct the story, because the man is not crazy. The man is not nuts. That man is well within his judicial power, constitutional power at the same time to take judicial notice. This man is well within his rights, and he served and he performed. And y'all need to correct the name calling this man names like that, defaming his character like that, because you know what you're doing. And you're doing it intentionally. Y'all owe Judge Stephen Duble an apology. Based on the 3-page letter I just read, giving his reason as to why he recalled all those warrants, etc. Y'all owe him an apology, because all he did was his constitutional duties, and y'all call this man crazy for that. Chris Tricio owe him an apology too. Paul Bencourt, you owe him an apology too. The Harris County District Attorney Office owe him an apology. And now that we're in knowledge of it, I'm sure we want to see it. To make this right, to cure what you just did to this man, y'all owe him a public apology, because you all was in error. Intentionally in error. You all was wrong. And y'all owe him an apology. Y'all need to clear that up. You issue him his oath, and now you're attacking him for abiding by his oath. Y'all crazy. Y'all the crazy ones. You are state officials, Harris County officials are the crazy ones, because the state of Texas issued this man his oath, and y'all gonna attack him for abide by? Y'all all crazy. Y'all are lunatics. So with that being said, Judge Stephen Duble, as we the people, we appreciate you for taking your stance and following the Constitution and any laws that's in compliance thereof. Again, this is Dr. Smith. This is the Social Room News, where we the people are now the real news. Y'all have a great night. I hope that y'all do your research on the matter at hand regarding Judge Stephen Duble, and read his his letter as to why he did what he did. And y'all can draw your own conclusions from there. Do your fact checking there, and I hope what you find, you can be in support of his actions, because we need good judges out there to follow the Constitution. And since they broke the story of their own, we hoping other judges fall in line with the Judge Stephen Duble just did. My apologies if I chopped your name up. This is Dr. Smith. Y'all have a great one.